Hello spectator. This story is based on a true event that happened in the Soviet Union in the 1980s. A young girl named Larisa returns to her hometown after she was rejected from the country's main university in Moscow. She lives far from the Soviet capital, in a town near the border with China. It's about 5,500 kilometers between them, so she'll have to fly on a plane with a transfer to get back. Larisa is waiting for departure at the transit airport. The flight is delayed for some reason, so she can only wait until it is ready. Some young captain tries to hit on her, but she lets him down gently. The girl is going back accompanied by her husband. Vladimir loves her very much. He is a man with a high soul, ready to do anything for her. They recently got married and are both happy. Finally, everything is ready for the departure, and the passengers are boarding the plane and taking their seats. Larisa decides to take a nap in the arms of her beloved. She refuses to wear her seat belt. Soon the plane starts the engines and leaves the airport. At the same time, air traffic controllers receive a notification about the military tests in the area of civil flights. There is a risk of colliding because of the delayed flight, but the military is not informed about it because the man who's responsible for the connection with the army has already finished his shift and gone home. It's been a regular flight like many before. It's about 30 minutes before the landing when suddenly some turbulence happens and a military plane flies directly over their flight. Traffic controller contacts the pilots shortly before it happens. He tells them to gain altitude in order to avoid a possible incident. After they left the dangerous area, the man allows the plane to go to its previous height. And this was a fatal mistake. A few seconds after the clash happened, the explosion punches a big hole in the passenger compartment. It is complete chaos inside. Humans, pets, luggage, everything fly from side to side and disappears in the hole. Unbelted Larisa is struggling to hold on. Vladimir catches her but quickly loses her hand. The fuselage gets torn to pieces, and the husband with the others flies away. The girl is falling from a height of 5 kilometers. She barely manages not to fall out and take a seat. Behind the clouds she sees the forest. Endless taiga reaches the horizon. After a few seconds the plane falls on trees. Soon the military launched an investigation into the incident. By words of one of the generals, it is extremely important to sort out the situation. The secret tests of some kind of ballistic missiles have failed because of the plane crash. The case was assigned to Major Kanajev straight from Moscow. Larisa has survived by some miracle. She comes to her senses in the plane wreckage somewhere in the taiga. The girl is injured. A metal piece pierced through her leg. Overcoming the wild pain, she manages to get it out on the second try. She bandages the wound and tries to figure out where she is and where everybody is. She screams for Vladimir but nobody answers. The girl wants to speak with somebody sitting behind her, but the woman is dead. She passes out from the shock. A few hours later, after getting his new order, Major Kanajev is in place and visits the military airport. He has all the authority to carry out his mission, so he gives orders not to tell the truth to society about what happened. The officer manages to send out letters to relatives of the crushed victims with some lengthy explanations. After that, he takes an urgent helicopter ride over the crush area. The man wants to see what's going on there, though he is sure that no one could survive a fall of 5 kilometers. Shortly after being awakened, Larisa hears the sounds of a helicopter. She understands that it could be the only chance to survive, so she goes to the source of the sound despite the injury. She goes to the open field, screams and waves, trying to be spotted. The flight engineer seems to spot somebody on the ground, but the crew decides it's a mistake because of poor visibility through the trees. The officer orders them to fly around one more time and to find all the plane's remnants. At the same time, the Soviet army sent soldiers to find the wrecks of the crashed military plane and its weapons. They've already found the pilots' dead bodies and some of the remnants. During the discussion, Kanajev orders the rescue teams to expand the search area in order to find all the wrecks of a military vehicle and the bodies of civilians. They never thought it possible that somebody would be able to survive. But Larisa did. Her wreckage fell beyond the area of search, so now she's alone in the wild. Moving with a crutch, the girl wants to find other remnants of the plane and her husband Vladimir. Finally she's found one of the wreck. And a Siberian tiger inside of it. Larisa tries to move away quietly but suddenly steps on a branch. The tiger hears a cracking sound and comes closer. The beast looks at her for a moment, but the sound of the flying helicopter scares him. He runs away, so the girl escapes death again. But the rescuers also couldn't see her. In desperation, Larisa sits on the ground and hugs a teddy bear she's found nearby. The girl wants to find Vladimir but doesn't know how to do it. She remembers that the aircraft was heading strictly west. Her husband fell out earlier, so he needed to be somewhere in the east. Larisa remembers an easy way to determine the north. Vladimir told her about it in the past. You just need to rub a needle with a cloth, put it on a leaf in the water, and the magnetized tip will show the north. It works. The girl determines the direction, takes a drink, some warm clothes from the dead passenger's body and sets off. Meanwhile, Major Kanajev continues the investigation. His boss gave him an order to find out the reasons for the incident and find the guilty ones. But it's a bit complicated. The civilian air traffic controllers say that everything is done according to the flight program. They've changed the course of the aircraft to avoid the collision. The pilot of a surviving military plane says that they saw bad weather ahead, so they decided to maneuver. He was able to survive while another plane crashed. Military pilots didn't tell anything to civilians about the maneuver, cause they have no right to do it. Thus, no one is guilty, it's just a tragic accident caused by a simple lack of coordination. Larisa, with grief in half, keeps going through wild taiga. Walking over rough terrain is rather difficult for her because of the injury. But after every fall, she stands back up because of Vladimir. Only thoughts about him give strength to the girl. In a few hours she meets her old acquaintance. A Siberian tiger is resting ahead. Larisa tries to be as quiet as possible, but the animal hears her. The girl rushes away from him, wishing to find cover. The tiger runs after her and almost catches her up. The girl doesn't look where she's running and suddenly falls somewhere. Larisa ends up in some kind of ravine. She comes to her senses and tries to hide from the tiger looking down. It's really lucky that the beast is satiated, so it just left her. Indeed, there was no more tiger after Larisa got out of that ravine. Soon she finds somebody's suitcase, some food, a pack of cigarettes and a lighter inside. All this gave her a chance to make a fire and survive the night. The girl is really surprised that she's still alive. Till this moment she's been miraculously saved several times, as if Larisa is being protected by a guardian angel. The next morning she comes upon a river and finds the front of the plane. In the cockpit the girl soon finds a signal pistol with cartridges. Larisa immediately loads one of them and fires a shot, hoping to attract the attention of rescuers. Major Kanajev looks at a photo of Larisa and Vladimir that was left for him. He had a short meeting with their parents recently. They begged him for help to organize searches in the area and to find the couple. As is always the case with parents, they believe their children could survive even after falling from 5 kilometers. The major's colleague asks him if he's seen anything strange or unusual while on the helicopter search. Kanajev answers that no, except for when the flight engineer seemed to spot a female. But the major thinks that it's just somebody from the rescue camp. To this, the man answers that he knows every single person from the rescue camp, and there are no women at all. Kanajev rushes to the helicopter's crew and convinces the pilot to fly despite the bad weather. Moving through the wild becomes harder and harder for Larisa. It's really cold, her wounds are getting worse, she's really close to giving up. On a tree next to her the girl spots a duffel bag. The girl dropped it on the ground with a branch and realized it is her husband's bag. If his belongings are here, then he should be somewhere nearby too. After a few minutes of walking, she finally finds him. Vladimir lies in a ravine, still buckled up to a seat. But Larisa doesn't see this. Happy to find him she falls down, gets closer and hugs her husband. She meets the soul of Vladimir almost ready to ascend. He takes her to a higher level of reality without pain or suffering for the last time together. They speak with each other until the moment when she passes out because of her excitement and weakness. At the same time, Kanajev and the crew are flying over the place where they spotted Larisa last time. The major understands that he made a big mistake when he refused to land, so now he wants to make everything right. After landing the crew begins to look around for the survivor. The girl awakens from the noise of a helicopter passing nearby. Happy that they've been found, she turns to the husband and finally sees a terrible wound on his head. He is dead. He'd already been dead. From this understanding Larisa falls into hysterics and tears. Rescuers find the pilot's cabin and an empty cartridge. They start to scream and call for her. After hearing them Larisa rushes to come out of a ravine. She tries to scream, but the rain dampens any sounds. The pistol with the last cartridge is out of the ravine, so she has to climb through the wet ground. Finally Larisa gets out and fires a shot. Rescuers find her in a few minutes. The men put the girl in a helicopter hurrying back to the camp. She survived, but lost a loved one. Larisa asks the major to raise her to the window. She wants to look at the place of their last conversation of love. And suddenly, the girl sees him again. The young man smiles and waves farewell. In this moment Larisa understands that it is he who helped her to survive, protected and supported her. The movie's script is based on the story of Larisa Savitskaya and Vladimir Savitsky. Check out other videos of our recap universe. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Thanks for watching pals, have fun until the next time.